Good morning, GERO 508. It is June 6th, and we are launching into cardiovascular disease. Just a quick announcement. Today is your due date, June 6th, for your paper topic. No big deal, an abstract, a short paragraph. You throw your idea at me, the people have already done it, and you know what I'm talking about, and then I give you a little extra guidance. Just remember, this is a biology class, so you got to throw some biology in there and make it work. Okay. Today is my son's birthday, David, June 6th. He's just turned 13 years old. Great kid, just like Matt, real smart. Just imagine 2006, what we were thinking on Dave's birthday that day. Think about it. Okay. Alrighty. So a wonderful discussion again. You guys are like marathon runners. You're kicking butt. It's amazing. You're hanging in there. So Lucy and Leah, wonderful job, and it was such a great prelude to do the nutrition and then the exercise and lifestyle, and then now boom, we're leading right into the diseases that are affected by these environmental factors, these decisions that we make in terms of how we run our life. And there's no one system that we know more about in terms of lifestyle than cardiovascular disease, the number one cause of death in our country. And so Jennifer and Victor have done a freaking amazing job. It's so cool. And what I really like about what they did, and I should have told you this before, but you know, it's a teaching moment. So anytime you make a PowerPoint, anytime you do a presentation and you are taking material off the web, cite the source. And they did this routinely throughout their presentation, and it's perfect. And so from now on, the guys that are doing the subsequent presentation, remember to cite your source. You just got to get in the habit of doing this because it's kind of expected professionally that we do that. Okay, so this is an entire semester's course, cardiovascular disease, and so they did a great overview of all the hot topics, which is really cool. They started with the epidemiology, okay, looking at the numbers and also looking at the gender differences, and these are very crucial. For many years it was always thought to be a male disease, okay, but it's unfortunately there tends to be oftentimes kind of a gender bias in terms of the medical community in evaluating people, and so many women will slip through the cracks and not get the proper diagnosis and treatment. Okay. Alrighty, so they go from this epidemiological survey, which is really great. It's not only the numbers but the financial impact, and then they launch right into the risk factors. And these risk factors are all really integrated. Okay, so we look at something like hypertension. Well, what caused the hypertension? Well, just basic aging in terms of our proteins, the elastins and collagens, sets us up. Okay, it's not going to give us hypertension, but we've kind of lost this background of resilience. Then you tap onto that, the atherosclerotic process. Okay, and this is due to lots of factors, and they tap into that, and they talk about metabolic syndrome. Okay, if you're a diabetic, you are super high risk for getting atherosclerosis. It has to do with the high blood sugar, and just like the candy-coated ham that we have for Thanksgiving, okay, honey-baked hams. Well, the sugar that you have in your bloodstream will actually fix itself to proteins. Okay, this is called an advanced glycation end product, also known as the Maillard reaction, and it completely alters the function of proteins, so they no longer work as well. And it sits there as this flag, this attractant to our immune system to trigger this gigantic inflammatory response, and then that leads to this whole cascade of events that causes the atherosclerotic plaque. Now, something else they tapped into had to do with what we can do to avoid or reduce the risk. Okay, and that was in part linked to the oxidative process. Okay, so they talked about different dietary things that you can do. So vitamin E is an antioxidant that puts itself into the lipid membranes, and then they talked about watermelon, and the same thing that you find in terms of ketchup, and these are lycopenes, these natural antioxidants, and there's thousands and thousands. And green tea has amazing antioxidant properties. Why is that important? Well, proteins get oxidized, okay, and when they get oxidized, specifically the low-density lipoprotein, when it gets oxidized, then it alters its function, okay. It attracts this gigantic inflammatory response. The macrophages will gobble up the fat-carrying LDLs that are oxidized. They form these foam cells, they explode, and then you have this lipid core that is the atherosclerosis. So if you can reduce sugar in your blood, if you can reduce the level of oxidation in your blood, then you're going to reduce this really early triggering factor that causes cardiovascular disease. Okay, so they go from that, and they talk about, again, some of the basic things. Aspirin, okay, this is not only a painkiller, that has to go with how it alters one pathway, okay, one aspect of the inflammatory pathway, but aspirin also has a completely separate effect from inflammation, where it actually alters the coagulation and platelet aggregation properties. So when your platelets come across an atherosclerotic plaque, oftentimes they will form this adhesion. It closes off the blood vessels. That's an ischemic clot, and then any tissue on the other side of it will die off. Okay. Alrighty, so great presentation by Victor and Jennifer. They want you to go ahead and do your risk assessment through these websites. I think we all should do it, and then tap into their basic questions. So we do have a star here. You see her oftentimes. That's Maple. You can kind of hear her snoring right now. There's Maple right there. She's my old dog. It's appropriate with this aging class that we look at aging Maple. Poor Maple. Come here, Maple. Come on, come on. Good girl. Come over here. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. Okay. So this is Maple. Can you see how gray her face is? Yes, Maple's going on 11 years old. And Maple suffered a stroke last year, so it's very appropriate that we talk about cardiovascular disease, okay? She had super elevated levels of cortisol due to a disease called Cushing's, led to metabolic syndrome, and then she had a stroke, okay? And it affected her balance, but she's done this amazing recovery because we've done the physical therapy on her. Maple likes to swim. Oh, Maple. All right. Goodbye, Maple. Okay, guys. Have a good weekend. Take care.